Hi everyone, let's get started.
Hi, my name is Kyle Brumbaugh and I'm the developer of the Leading Edge Certification Administrator Curriculum for the Millennium Learning Environments. I'm going to take you on a short tour of what we'll be doing in this section and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
So now that you've heard my introduction, let's start to look at what's going on. First of all, let's ask, where have we been? Well, we started with simple text messaging. By the end of the 1990s, the number of text messages sent on a daily basis exceeded the population of the Earth. Nicholas Negroponte's book, Being Digital, was probably the one book that really kind of spurred on the entire digital revolution. Most of our first experience with the internet was, unfortunately, on America Online. Google came around towards the end of the 1990s and really has been a driving force ever since. And at the end of the 1990s, Blogger emerged and really became the first time that individuals could publish on the web. But more often than not, a lot of people look at Thomas Friedman's book, The World is Flat, as the single book that really spurred on what we now know as the internet revolution. So, what did that mean to some of us? What I'm going to show you right now is actually the 1-minute video that I submitted to attend the first Google Teacher Academy back in 2006.
It was in early 2005 I had an ed tech epiphany. There was a convergence of tools that made this possible. It started with Alan November. He introduced RSS, blogs, wikis, and a book, The World is Flat. I started reading blogs and finding models on the internet. People like Will Richardson, David Warlick, and David Pope quickly became sages, guiding me on my journey. Next came a video I saw on the internet called Google's On. This was the manifestation of the vision I wanted to create. I showed the video to everyone. I started writing my own blog. I became an ed tech evangelist, and the blog was my pulpit that I delivered my sermons from. Web 2.0 became the maxim I exhorted. I pushed my blog out to all 400 plus teachers in our district. Some saw the vision and joined in. Now it was the students' turn. We needed to give these skills to students. The Global Communications course became the conduit. No longer is time or space a barrier to communication or collaboration. Students now have the ability to participate in the read-write web and become contributing members of the knowledge commons that will make them global citizens.
So, going from that point, where we are right now is we have YouTube, where we can instantly create video and publish it to the web, where we have basically 48 hours of content being created every minute. We have Google Docs, where we can collaborate on a variety of different documents. We have Facebook that allows us to rekindle old friendships, but keep in touch with our families and friends and coworkers. We have Twitter that allows us to very quickly send out messages to our friends, but more importantly to people that we work with and people that we want to interact with from around the country, around the world. LinkedIn kind of takes that same concept and applies it to business. And now Google Plus has kind of come in and really kind of wrapped in a lot of different technologies, not just the social aspect of a Facebook and not just the collaborative of Google Docs, but also, and not just the video of YouTube, but kind of rolls all of those into one. So what we've really gotten to now is this graphic, which is getting information off the internet is a lot like taking a drink from a fire hydrant. There's just so much out there. How do we handle it all? And you get this little analogy of a Vegas buffet where there's just so much food and it all looks good, but if you try to eat it all, you're going to probably make yourself sick. So what do you do? How do you handle all this information? That's where we're going. We need to look at tablet devices that our students and we're going to be able to use pretty quickly. We need to look at curating that content. How do we pare it down? How do we filter out what's good and what's not so good? There's a lot of different sites that do this. One of the ones that comes to mind right now is Pinterest, where you can post pictures and have other people comment them, but you basically create something that other people comment on. Another one of these social or digital curation sites is known as Pearl Trees, where you create links between different articles and people will then comment on them. Foursquare is another one of these social tools where you can basically find people where they're at or people are checking in. So who's leading the way here? Who's kind of doing the things that we need to be doing in education with these tools? Well, one of the best authors that's kind of identified some of these things is a man named Clay Shirky, and his quote here says, "A revolution doesn't happen when a society adopts new tools, it happens when society adopts new behaviors." Clay Shirky's book, Here Comes Everybody, in 2008, really was the first book that identified this idea of media curation, or this idea of there's just so much information, how do you make sense of it all? How do you filter it all out? Henry Jenkins has done a lot of different things, but his book, Convergence Culture, talks about how all of the different types of media are now kind of mashing up together to create a new kind of media. Mimi Ito, who works at USC and is now also on the staff at UC Irvine, is doing a lot of work with how students are using these tools to create their own environments. And James Paul G is doing a lot of work on how students work or learn using video games. So now the question becomes, who's leading your teachers, students, school, and community? And part of this curriculum will give you some tools to do those things better. Thank you.